Welcome back, folks. Our next guest is a hugely successful musician and a multiple Grammy Award winner. Please welcome the very provocative T.I. Oh my gosh, nice to meet you.
Likewise.
I don't know where to begin. You know, I'm a city kid. I grew up in the city with 6 brothers and sisters. You know, my parents kept a real tight rein on us. And I mean, I know how many options there were in the city, especially when you don't think beyond the neighborhood, like you think you can't get out.
Yeah.
And when I was reading about you, I was thinking, you know, what was childhood like for you?
Well, you know, I was also a city kid.
Yeah.
I grew up in Atlanta. Childhood was rough, but I didn't know it at the time.
Right, you don't know. It's like all we know, right?
Right on. And but you know, I was blessed and fortunate enough to, you know, to create opportunities for myself and, you know, make a way out of no way.
Because you started rapping at a really young age, like 8 or 9 years old.
Yes.
And then you get your first record contract at 19, which is really, I mean, if somebody gave me that kind of opportunity at 19, I don't know how clear my head would be, or, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a fair assessment. I mean, you know, it definitely takes some growing into.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, now I don't know the audience at home knows that you're in this legal situation. Can you explain it to us so that they can understand?
Well,
as much as you want, honey. Whatever you're comfortable with, but please tell us everything or I'll have
Well, to put it plainly, I was arrested on federal weapons possessions, and I pled guilty, and you know, and I'm now awaiting sentencing to pay my debt to society.
So you will, it's inevitable, you will be spending some time in prison.
Yeah, at least a year.
At least a year, and this is coming up soon, correct?
Yes.
Now, the reason you felt, I mean, part of the reason, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that you felt a need to have weapons or arm yourself was in 2006 you had an incident.
Yes, in 2006, leaving from an after party in Cincinnati, Ohio, you know, we were engaged in a shootout, and my best friend died in my arms. And the people who had, the people who were attempting to take my life had never been brought to justice. So, you know, it was a lot of paranoia, a lot of mixed emotions, a lot of anger, and, you know, just undealt with grief that, you know, kind of jaded my judgment a little bit and altered my decision making.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, you can't underestimate the power of grief.
This is true.
Because it's not like, I mean, even, you know, guys your age and in that whole world of rap music and the money comes in and it's almost like you're living in a movie, like somebody else's movie. Did it feel like that for you?
Nah, it's never. I've always kept my feet planted on the ground. My mom makes sure of it.
So you've always felt really connected to what's happening.
Yeah.
Even though it seems, from somebody like me, from the outside looking in, it seems so surreal to think that you would go through a situation where there's a shootout, your best friend is killed, he dies with you holding him.
Yeah.
And then you end up with a weapons charge years later and facing prison time. I mean, that's something that not everyone can really get their head around, that you're dealing with it.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm blessed. You know, I'm better this year than I was last year. Hope to be better next year than I am this year.
Yeah, because from everything I've read and I've seen you on other shows, you're talking about really taking all this as a lesson and learning and growing. And there is a quality to your personality. You're very charming, but I also think there's a lot of depth here. And that's what drew me to want to speak to you, because I think there's a lot of young people out there, T.I., that look at you. And I mean, you're working with the biggest stars in the business right now. You just did this one with Justin Timberlake, and I think we have some footage of that. But I mean, it's this. I think they see that reward and everything, but I think there's another side to this, that you really had a journey where you had to work really, really hard, and now the self-discovery and facing something like a year.
Absolutely. I think that you know, the journey to where you end up as a man, you know, that all makes for wonderful music, you know, to let people into your life and let people into your epiphanies, things you've learned, you know. any man from the age of 19 to the age of 29 will grow and mature in ways that will be, you know, more than noticeable by anyone paying attention. It just so happens that I'm doing my growing and maturing in front of the public eye.
Yeah, but you have to choose to grow and learn from it too,
Sure.
and you're making that choice. Some people don't make that choice.
This is
They
correct.
make the same mistake over and over again. And I think that you're really making choice with this TV show that you have. I think we're going to come right back and we'll show some of that too,
Okay.
because I think it's great. We'll be right back more with you.
Thank you.
Still ahead, T.I. looks back.
Sometimes you don't recognize or process the negativity that
Right,
comes
the
with that
consequence.
decision. Yeah.